Veterans Day by Daniel and Jude.
Veterans Day by Daniel and Jude. What is Veterans Day? Veterans Day is a day that we celebrate people who serve in the armed forces. The armed forces are Army, Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy, and Coast Guard. 25 million veterans live in the United States today. These people who serve in the armed forces had to train for months and years.
World War I ended officially on November 11, 1918 at 11 o'clock a.m. Germany signed an armistice or an agreement to stop fighting in 1919. President Woodrow Wilson made November 11th a holiday. It was called Armistice Day. Each year on that day, Americans remember the sacrifices that soldiers had made during World War I. Officials gave speeches of thanks for the peace that had been won. In 1938, Congress voted to make November 11th a nation holiday. Armistice Day later became Veterans Day. Oh, that'll be good. This will work good. Okay. What's your name?
James Larrabee,
Can you tell us what branch you served in?
United States Air Force,
How many years did you serve?
10 and a half.
Did you volunteer or were you drafted?
I was a volunteer, signed up out of college,
Did you serve during a conflict?
served during the Vietnam War era.
Can you tell us a little about what your job was while you served?
I was a surveyor and drafter and went by the name of Site Development Specialist. We surveyed runways and roads, and we surveyed locations for buildings, and then we drew up our survey information back at the office when the surveys were completed.
What kind of gear did you use?
Well, my gear was a level and a transit, a stadia rod, and we worked both in the English system and the metric system, and we carried chains which were long measuring tapes, and that was our equipment.
How was the food?
In Southeast Asia, the food was really good.
We haven't been hearing that from other veterans.
Oh, well, they were in different places than I was, I guess.
How was your job?
That was my job. I loved the engineering work. It was an engineering field, and I loved engineering.
That's the very interview.
Watch as Danny White interviews Jerry Baldridge in the Marine Corps.
Jerry Baldridge.
Can you tell us what branch you served in?
I spent 27 years in and around the Marine Corps.
Wow.
How many years did you serve?
27.
Did you serve during a conflict?
I was in during Vietnam, although I did not see any combat or any time that I was in. I have a lot of friends and family that did.
Did you volunteer or were you drafted?
I volunteered.
Can you tell us a little of what your job was while you served?
Well, I don't think I've done a very critical job, but I was told that I did. I worked in administration. I took care of people's pay records, health records, their service records, make sure they got paid on time, all that kind of stuff.
What kind of gear did you use?
What kind of what?
Gear did you use?
Okay. One more time. You have to excuse
What
me.
kind of gear did you use?
What kind of gear?
Yes.
Oh. Well, we had what they call 782 gear, which was a canteen, an ammunition belt, an entrenching tool. Started out using the M14 and then went to the M16.
How was the food?
I'm alive. I'm here. So I guess it's okay.
That's a good blow.
How was my job? It was pretty demanding at times. Trying to, I guess, keep everybody happy, make sure they got their pay on time. Got to go home on leave when they wanted to. Taking care of the records, make sure everything was up to date. It could be taxing at times, but otherwise it was pretty rewarding, I guess.
Now listen to Jude while he does a standard interview.
Hi, Jude. What was your veteran's name?
Jim Martinet.
Was he a relative of yours?
He was my grandpa.
What branch of service did he work?
Coast Guard and Army Reserve.
How many years did he serve?
19 years altogether.
Wow, that's a lot. What was he drafted or volunteered?
He volunteered.
What part of the U.S. or world did he serve in?
Stanley, Kansas City.
What part of was he in a conflict?
No conflicts.
What was his job or assignment?
Cook. He had to cook for 300 to 200 people each day.
Wow, that's a lot. What did he remember anything in his memory?
He remembers driving in a convoy through Kansas in November. Snow was blowing around and they had no windows or doors on their Jeeps. It was a long, cold ride.
Thank you, that's all we need.